Hi guys, today in the first application of YouthTalk project as the first speaker, here's me. I would like to start with a question. If I gave you a marshmallow and told you that if you wait for 5 minutes and don't eat the marshmallow until I am back, you will have another one. Would you eat or not? There's actually an experiment that was made just about this. In my part, I'm going to be telling you about the ability to delay pleasure test, or with its most known name, Stanford Marshmallow Experiment, or just Marshmallow Experiment. In the experiment that was applied on kindergarten students by Stanford University between the years of 1968 and 1972, investigators and children were taken to rooms and they put a snack the kid would like to eat. For example, a marshmallow. And the kids were told, if you wait and don't eat the marshmallow until I am back, you will have another one. Then the applier leaves. Some of the kids waited for the investigator to turn back and some didn't. And the applier was back. Nearly 2 out of 3 of all subjects couldn't wait and have eaten the snack. Now let's take a look at the most important and impressive part of the experiment. According to results of researches that investigators made in long term, the kids who showed patience in experiment turned into people that are more successful in various things in life compared to those who couldn't wait. That minor percentage of test subjects became into people that better performs in academic and social life. They've got higher grades in SAT, which is university exam, and they have got healthier bodies. The experiment was made in 1960s, 80s, and 2000s. Actually, the scientists were thinking that denying urges will be harder for younger generations which grew up with technology more than others, but results were the opposite. Well, but it seems like the marshmallow experiment helps us good enough in guessing about other people's fate, or doesn't it? Even if the Stanford Marshmallow experiment helps us to get some basic ideas about the topic, there are some exceptions. Examinations that was made after about the scientific worth of the experiment and other researches leads to other results. It understood that the logic and discipline is not the only factor that affects the conclusion. Children's trust the investigator, and especially the socioeconomic classes subjects' families belong. These factors were ignored at first experiment, but then it's understood that they are actually one of the main actors. Kids that came from low class were worried about losing the marshmallow at all. So even if they have trusted to appliers or they had enough psychological power to stop urge on eating, they choose to eat at first. Of course, this doesn't mean this first experiment doesn't have any value at all, but the Stanford Marshmallow experiment helps us to have an idea about the general topic. But we can just think all other factors were useless. Let's talk about will, self-control, and urges. It's one of our generation's biggest problems, right? I think we must accept something. We cannot make a progress without doing any sacrifices. But what is the role of the balance in this equation? Or when does will turns into an obsession? I want you to think on a scenario. What if the first person who invented the wheel was someone who had will and discipline? Probably he would done the work by using the harder way, and the wheel would be invented lately or never. At this point, we see that basic seeking for peace and coolness have beaten the discipline and will, and so our technology has improved. Now let's think about another example. What if the inventor of the vaccine of rabies, Louis Pasteur, was a lazy, or if he just didn't want to risk his career, and so he would probably not help a 9-year-old kid who got attacked by rabid dogs. Maybe today rabies would still considered as a serious health problem and would cause certain death instead of a basic primitive deadly sickness that we can just easily prevent with some special liquids, which is called vaccines. Maybe the reason that this looks like a paradox and it makes us feel confused, or why we can decide on which one is more important, is that We are always looking for a certain conclusion, while even science doesn't claim it found the ultimate truth. The main conflict starts at here. We can't say that our urges are patience. It decides by only considering now. Generally, the benefits of now are the depth that we borrow from the better piece of future. In the base of the topic, they both are suggestions, will and urges. My thoughts about all these are how wrong dogmatic ideas are and how true the critical and independent thinking from all corners. Because as we shouldn't be obsessed of self-control, we must be really far away from being addicted of pleasure. We love eating chocolate, and even if it's harmful, there should be a place of chocolate in every life. We get out of our beds and study because the questions in university exam won't be about Instagram. And if we don't sacrifice anything, maybe one day we will have to behave that we forgot to buy the chocolate our kids asked from us. My last words are rational and independent thought must judge and decide the balance between urges and self-control. Enjoy the life at best. Thank you all for listening to me. Now I have a question for you, for all you are. Would you eat the marshmallow? Would you eat? Would you eat the marshmallow? Okay, thank you all for listening to me and answering my questions. Now I leave the scene for the second speaker, Ece.